Here's the deal. Every smart social media strategy begins with 3 simple words. Stop the scroll. Because if you can't get your audience to stop scrolling on social, it doesn't matter how amazing your message is because no one will ever hear it. But you might be wondering, how do you actually get people to stop scrolling in the first place? So in this video, I'll share with you 5 strategies to earn attention on social, 5 simple ways to stop the scroll.
Well, hey there, and welcome to Pro Church Tools, the show where in 10 minutes or less, you're going to get a dose of tips and tactics to help your church share the message of Jesus while we navigate the biggest communication shift in 500 years. I'm your host, Alex Mills, joined as always by the boss man, Brady Shearer.
Alex, we talk at length about this simple social media strategy, stop the scroll.
Right.
Really, every great social strategy begins with these 3 simple words. But one common objection or just common response to that initial strategy is, well, how do you actually do that?
Right.
How do you get people to stop scrolling? And so we want to outline 5 different strategies that churches can use to actually accomplish this goal of stopping the scroll, rhyme not intended. And so hopefully by the end of this episode of Pro Church Tools, you'll know exactly how to stop the scroll.
Well, Brady, we use this phrase often that attention is the most valuable commodity that your church can possess. And on social, if you are not going to get someone to stop scrolling, you're not going to have their attention. And so what you're posting is not going to matter. And so you're right. Everything about our social strategy has to come down to this 3-word phrase, stop the scroll. And how are we going to do it? Well, here are 5 tips.
Number 1, images, photos of human faces. We respond to the human face because we are social species.
Yeah.
And studies have proven this time and time again. Add a photo to a website and it boosts trustworthiness. And this is true on social as well. Georgia Institute of Technology did a study where they looked at more than 1 million different posts that were on Instagram, and they found that photos with human faces earned 38% more likes and 32% more comments than posts without human faces.
Yeah.
And so if you want to stop the scroll, include a nice big smiling photo or a nice big funny looking face photo on your feed, and that is a great way to stop the scroll.
Yeah.
Number 2, second way that you can stop the scroll is to focus on the first 3 seconds of your video. So this applies particularly to videos that are posted on social. I've been getting a couple of DMs lately from people saying, hey, here's a video post that I made for social. What do you think of it? And they'll have done something really cool with their video and with their content, an innovative way of using social, but I'll notice that they didn't pay too much attention to the first 3 seconds of the video. And so they'll ask for my feedback, and what I'll say to them, and this has happened a couple of times just in the last 48 hours, I'll say to them, this is a great post, but the first 3 seconds, there isn't too much motion. There's nothing really dynamic going on. The energy is really low. And if you want to stop the scroll, you need to make sure that those first 3 seconds of your video, there's a lot happening. Yeah. There's a lot of movement. There's something dynamic. Because if someone's scrolling and they see a video and there's a lot happening, they're more likely to stop the scroll because there's frenetic energy on their screen, and that is unusual. That looks different than the rest of their feed likely, and so they're going to stop scrolling. And that's why there's this 2-part social media strategy, really, where you're stopping the scroll and then you're sharing your message.
Right.
And so the couple of examples that I've been receiving in my DMs over these last couple of days, they've been really great ways of using social. Again, innovative, unusual. But again, if you can't get that scroll to stop to begin with, it doesn't matter how great your post is if you can't stop the scroll. And with a video, you got to do something within those first 3 seconds, because that's the only time that you're going to get for everyone that your post reaches. So you got to focus intently on those first 3 seconds. I talk about this with our animators. We're putting together different posts for social, and I'll say, okay, remember, these first 3 seconds, we got to do something unusual, unpredictable, high energy, high movement, and they fully understand what I'm talking about. I'm preaching to the choir in that instance because they're great at executing on that important strategy.
Yeah, and the message we're sharing, as churches, we know that our message is the greatest one. It's the greatest story ever told. It's the message of hope in Jesus. But like you said, our message can be the greatest, which it is, but if we can't get somebody's attention, can't stop their scroll using, jump cuts or something flashy or something out of the ordinary to get them to engage with the content we're producing, and specifically in this example, the videos we're producing, it's not going to matter.
Strategy number 3 for stopping the scroll is use familiar designs in unfamiliar places. Elevation Church has done a great job with this. Gary V does a great job with this. basically, you take something that is familiar, but then you put it in a place where you would normally never find it. So what do I mean by that? Well, an example of that would be using UI or branding elements that are familiar to most of us in places that they don't belong. So using iMessage as a design on Instagram,
Right.
or using a Facebook Live video and then screen recording that Facebook Live video and then uploading that Facebook Live video screen recording to Instagram video.
Right.
Or a really simple version of this that we can all do is take a screenshot of a
course.
tweet and then post that screenshot on Instagram. Because again, all of these things are unusual. So why will this stop the scroll? Well, when I or when you are scrolling through your social feed and suddenly you see a FaceTime request coming
Wait,
through. You're
I'm
like,
on Instagram. Who's?
and then Stephen Furtick is talking to you.
Yeah, and you got saved.
And you get saved. Thank you. Another soul for Jesus.
Yes.
You're scrolling through your Instagram feed, and suddenly you see a screenshot of a tweet, and you're like, am I in Twitter? Oh my gosh, what happened?
Hold on. I'm supposed to be on a Twitter fast right now.
I thought I deleted Twitter from my phone. Oh, no. But that's how you stop the scroll.
Yes.
Unusual places using usual or just familiar designs.
Right.
Strategy number 4 is extreme minimalism. So now this is a design technique that I have been seeing work on social.
Yeah.
I've been looking through different Instagram feeds, different social feeds and profiles of people in churches and ministries that I think are doing an excellent job. And there's an interesting trend that I saw develop in my own kind of anecdotal case study looking at all the different posts.
Okay.
When designs were extremely minimal, I'm talking very light, maybe even just a white background with like a single line of black text, it looked like those posts were earning on average 10, 20, 30% extra likes.
Wow.
And I think the reason for this, if I was just to warrant a guess, I think the reason is similar to the familiar UI in unusual places. I think when you're scrolling through your social media feed and suddenly there's a ton of white space where normally you'd see a ton of contrast, that's unusual, which gets you to stop the scroll. And then the content is so easy to consume because it's just a one-liner. It's very easy to like it.
Yeah.
Because it gets you to stop the scroll. That's part 1, element 1, because of that white space. That's unusual. Normally there's high contrast in between the white bars on an Instagram feed of people's profile and their handles. And then the content is so consumable and digestible because it's so short, like a one-line piece of text, that it's really easy to like. And that's the second part of a strong social media strategy, getting something that's easy to like and easy to engage with. And so I would recommend experimenting with this with stopping the scroll, extreme minimalism, like white or light gray background, single line or just 2 lines of black text.
You see this a lot on album covers. I mean, we use this strategy when it comes to actually making sermon graphics. Often, I know you love the strategy for sermon graphics.
Of course I do.
Small text and like 1-2 words maximum, just taking advantage of that negative space. And like you said, it kind of just brings attention to the actual content of the post. And that gives you an opportunity, kind of like a doorway to lead people to your caption, right? And so you can expand on that thought, whether it's a 1-word or 2-word image post, you can lead them to your caption, expand on that thought, and maybe start a conversation there in the comments. But yeah, I love this idea.
So to recap, strategy number 1 is images or photos of human faces. Number 2, focus on the first 3 seconds of your video. Number 3, use familiar designs in unfamiliar places. Number 4, extreme minimalism. And that brings us to strategy number 5, which really sums up all of those particular specific ideas. And that is repeat equals defeat.
Right.
The mantra on social that you need to keep telling yourself over and over again and repeating to your team as well. Number 1, stop the scroll. Number 2, repeat equals defeat. If you're wondering, how do I stop the scroll? The key is always doing different things with your visuals, being inconsistent with the looks of your posts and the looks of your videos. Because if you dive deep into consistent visual brand, if you keep doing the same types of things over and over again, you're just going to condition your audience to scroll right past it because they've seen it before. You've got to do something different to get them to stop scrolling because people are just mindlessly scrolling. You don't take it as a criticism of you that they scroll past. It's just that the nature of the beast means that we need to do things that are unpredictable and unusual. Repeat equals defeat. Try these 4 specific particular strategies and ideas for stopping the scroll, but then remember that the mantra, The overall idea is repeat equals defeat. Keep mixing it up. Never get too consistent with your visuals.
So good.
And that'll do it for this episode of Pro Church Tools. If you want to take the next step with your social media game, we put together a checklist. It's called the New Social Media Checklist for Churches, and it really contains everything we believe about social in a really easy and quick read. The New Social Media Checklist for Churches. You can find the link for that in the show notes, or go directly to the easy-to-remember URL, checklist.church. Somebody asked me, Alex, Brady, are you trying to get all the .church domains and own them all? And I said,
Yes.
Of course I am. Checklist.church is now one of them. Go to that, download the checklist, and take your social media engagement to the next level. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel so you never miss another video.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Congratulations. Why don't you go ahead and obliterate that like button?
Take the like button and smash